Okay, so as I mentioned last week, I'm not in session today, but you do have work to complete. This video is just a bit of a guide really to help you with the task. I've also created this fact sheet, so what the first thing I need to do is go onto the Moodle page and you need to make sure you download this fact sheet, okay, because it has all the information on that you need to answer and you need to research. Now again, this will feed directly into your assignment, so don't think of the session as an hour and a half off and I'll go through it again all next week. This will feed directly into your assignment, so it's important that you do spend at least an hour and a half doing this work. So, what we've looked at so far is this concept. We've looked at it in detail. So we've looked at how businesses identify a trend, they then make a decision to gain a comparative advantage, be that at the operational, tactical or strategic level. That's been the premise for the first 6 weeks of this session. So what we're doing now is we're looking at exactly, well, why and how do managers do this? So what is the point in doing this? And how do managers do this within specific functional areas? So the first thing you need to look at is the actual specific roles of a manager. Now I'm sure you can think of what your manager does, and you may think that your manager does none of these things, or all of these things, or some of these things. Specifically though, these are the theoretical roles of a manager. So the first thing you need to do is go through these and just write a sentence or two explaining what you think these sentences or these words or these group of words mean. So, for example, what does monitor activity actually mean? What does coordinate activity, analyse, predict, control, record transactions? Hopefully when you're reading those through, you'll see straight away, okay, well, some of those definitely link with specific functional areas. So hopefully you might be thinking record transactions and activity, well, that's going to be your finance department and it's going to be your sales department. Your coordinate activity, well, that may be your production department because they've got to coordinate all the labour, they've got to coordinate the materials, they've got to coordinate the machines. So that's the first thing, thinking about what those words mean and writing a sentence for each. What you're then doing is thinking about specific decisions within functional areas. Now, this is where actually some of the work, some of the better presentations from P1, P2 will really help you. Because you may have actually talked around decisions within functional areas. So for example, I think most of you picked up on the HR example about looking at sickness patterns. So which one of these would you say that applies to sickness patterns in HR? Okay, well hopefully you might have looked at monitoring activity. So the HR department are monitoring the activity of employees and then they go through this process. So although this may seem a bit repetitive, it's focusing on those key functions of a manager. Okay? So the bare minimum, excuse me, the bare minimum I expect is a sentence on each of these, so each of the functions of a manager, and then one specific decision for each functional area. Okay? So one specific decision for each functional area. Those of you that do finish quickly and want to move on, because this does link into a merit criteria, and again, you've seen this diagram before, you've seen some of these terms before, what I'd like you to do is look into a little bit more detail about exactly what is a management information system. So what is this diagram, exactly what does it say, what does it do? What are the specific ones we've talked about? So data mining, predictive modelling and databases. Again, you probably know them a sentence or two, a little bit more in depth, and then bringing it all together. So how does a data mining management information system allow the marketing department to analyse customers? So you can see there how we're taking 5 different aspects of the course and drawing it all together. Right, I hope that makes sense. You've got my email address, dthompson@southdowns.ac.uk. So if you have got any questions, then do please email. I will be back next week, so nothing to worry about there. Please do make sure that you complete, as I asked, the bare minimum, and you bring that with you to the session, because that will form the discussion for the first part of the session. And if you don't do that, we can't move on, and it becomes absolutely pointless. Well, I hope that helps. You've got the video, you've got the fact sheets, you've got all your previous work, and together that should be fine. Okay.